What is going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 in the Blabbermouth Sister-in-Law series. Now, I know there was a little bit of confusion with the previous episode, but don't worry, we are now jumping back into the contemporaneous present, so to speak. 3 posts for you today, and how about this for a title? The inside of a hospital, how my entitled cousin lost his job, and how Blabbermouth has the honor of meeting Frou-Frou. Dear people of Reddit, I thought that no more updates would be needed, as the piece seemed to have returned. It wasn't for long, however. It all starts with my entitled cousin and Blabbermouth staying in touch with each other. They kept complaining and apparently blaming all their misfortune on me. I am the source of their problems, and if I'd just done what I was supposed to do, then none of the bad things would have happened. My entitled cousin then had the bright idea that I should be punished. So, what did they talk about? Well, it put me in the hospital. The entitled cousin had some friend of his follow me. Since I don't work regular office hours, it took me about 3 weeks before I noticed the same person following me around. I got scared, as I've been followed in the past. Nothing came of it in the end, but it made me vigilant. I took some precautions to be sure, made reports with law enforcement, and asked our nice neighbor and his wife if they could keep an eye out. They would. This nice neighbor has experience as a PI, law enforcement, and specializes in training for police dogs and such. It happened about 2.5 weeks before Christmas. It's worth mentioning as well, guys, this was posted on January the 6th, 2022. I was walking on the street, talking on my phone, when the entitled cousin and that buddy of his dragged me into a quiet street and proceeded to beat me. In a lull, I managed to hit them where men tend to hurt a lot, add some blows where I could, before I set off an alarm with the volume of a ship's horn to alert people, and did my best to get away. Where I'm from, civilians aren't allowed to carry guns, tasers, or stun guns like in the US, so save the get a gun talk. Police and ambulance came, reports were made, the whole shebang. I was brought to the hospital, and the damage, a lot of bruises, 6 broken ribs, a broken wrist, and some bruising to organs. I'm doing alright. I had to stay for a little while as there were some concerns about my lung, liver, and kidneys. Now, who is wondering where Blabbermouth is in this story? Don't worry, I'll tell you. To preface, in the time we've lived in this neighborhood, my nice new neighbors have become friends of me and my family. They both know what's happened, know about the money, and have provided friendship, sets of extra eyes, and a dog for my children to fawn over. My nice neighbors don't have children, not their choice, and they become another aunt and uncle to my kids. The children love them, and they are Frou-Frou's biggest kid fans. Also, it's worth mentioning as well that you guys let me know in the comments down below on the last episode that cane corsos are extremely, well, can be extremely sort of, I don't want to use the word violent, but strong. They're a mastiff. I didn't know this. It's sort of, well, they can be like a guard dog. According to Wikipedia anyway, they may be used to protect livestock, and they were used for hunting large game and to herd cattle in the past. So that's the sort of dog that OP's entitled cousin was dealing with. Anyway, our kids and our nice neighbors, just a little bit, were begging for a sleepover with them. So after quarantine, testing negative on PCR tests and such, my nice neighbors and Frou-Frou had my children over. Blabbermouth found out where my kids were. I think she's been following them. And on the day that the entitled cousin and his buddy were beating me up, she went to them while they were outside and tried to convince them to come with her. When they refused, she grabbed the youngest and tried to drag him with her. Bad move, Blabbermouth. Frou-Frou needed his walk, and my children took him for that walk. My nice neighbor was around, but not close enough to intervene swiftly. There was no need. Frou-Frou did. The moment she tried to drag my youngest away, Frou-Frou came sprinting towards them and started barking his head off, growling when he wasn't. The nice neighbor heard his dog, saw who was there with my kids, and called the cops while running towards the situation. A little while later, Blabbermouth got to quality test the backseat of a police vehicle. According to my neighbor, she was behaving like a Karen. I hope I used that term correctly, telling everybody in the vicinity how my neighbor should be arrested for having a vile and dangerous dog and that she didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry, you used the term Karen perfectly. She's out on bail and charged with attempted child abduction and breaking of the no contact order. My entitled cousin and his buddy also had bail set and paid it along with some nice charges. As to what Blabbermouth was thinking, I don't know. I know that my entitled cousin's idea was to beat me into submission. My husband had a not so nice chat on the phone with my entitled cousin's mum, as she called him and asked if we could drop the charges. It turns out that my entitled cousin's boss did fire him. It seems he had some disciplinary action going against him already, and this was the final straw in his boss's eyes. The cousin got to his work, only to be led into the office to meet with his resignation papers. We found out where his whole bow to the will of the family crap came from. Mummy dearest. She basically told my husband that if I had done what they asked, then nothing bad would have happened. I was from outside of the family. So is she, by the way, married to an uncle of my husband. So I should do as I was told. I just had enough time to get out some snacks and a drink to listen to the sweet sounds of him going ballistic. It was lovely and scary to hear. I took the phone when he took a breather, and I told her that I'd heard what she had to say, and the whole spiel of contact my lawyer, harassment, yada yada. Click and block. She hasn't called since. Note, my entitled cousin now has a good job that pays well. His wife also works, and they're able to pay the bills, save some as well, and have some extras to spend. He and his wife and family have a comfortable life. It's not like they're in dire straits with debts. So for people commenting that he must be desperate for money, he isn't. After this incident and a couple of attempted break-ins, a neighborhood watch was formed. We gave the people involved a photograph of Blabbermouth and of my entitled cousin. Told them only that we had no contact orders against them and asked them to call law enforcement if they were spotted in the neighborhood. All in all, we had a nice Christmas and New Year's Eve. We're doing as well as can be. I am still sore and have to go to the hospital for checkups. My husband and I are getting progressively concerned since my entitled cousin and Blabbermouth are not deterred by the piece of paper that states no contact order. Moving again is out of the question. When my husband and I were talking one night while the kids were in bed, my eldest had come downstairs and overheard us. He was adamant that he didn't want to move. His reasons were that if they did this and we moved again after each escalation, we'd have to keep moving. He felt safe in his home and with Frou-Frou and the nice neighbours in the vicinity. The other two agreed when we talked with them in the morning. The kids are shaken but doing relatively well. Due to what happened, we are also looking into therapy for all of us. The youngest is quite shaken, but for now is thinking more of how cool it was that Frou-Frou protected him and how Blabbermouth was trying to climb a car. Wow, sorry, is that how she tried to escape the dog? That's unbelievable. My eldest understands what has happened a bit better and is more fearful. Our nice neighbours have offered Frou-Frou for sleepovers so that the kids feel safer. We're also thinking about getting our own Frou-Frou. Our neighbours have already offered to help in the purchase and training of the dog. My husband is frantic with worry about what might have happened and what my entitled cousin might try in the future. We're also going to do some research on how to protect ourselves further. We're talking with law enforcement, our dear lawyer friend, and other people to see what's possible in terms of the law without turning our neighborhood into a heavy security prison or something like that. So, that's that. Now, immediately, I'm going to jump into the next post here because it's a very short one and I think you're all going to love it. This comes not too long after the previous post on January the 7th, 2022, titled A Good Update. I didn't think I'd come back with an update so soon. Grab the snacks and drinks, turn on the music and dance with me, or more for me as my ribs still hurt. My entitled cousin and Blabbermouth have been arrested and are now finding out how the jail looks from the inside. My husband and I were both called by them, begging us to drop the charges. With this, they broke the no contact order and the bail order. We got everything recorded and then called law enforcement immediately, along with my lawyer. They were arrested. Just received the news. Happy butt wiggle for me. Well, that is phenomenal news and obviously has been a long time coming. I can't quite believe it's taken this long for either of these two to actually properly be arrested and taken away in a police car properly. I feel like it sort of has happened already, but let's see what happens in the next update and see if they're actually going to spend any time in jail. I think so far that hasn't really happened, right? But yeah, it's taken a while. I would have thought that, trying to sort of abduct kids may well have caused this in the past, but who knows? At least it's happened now. Okay, then let's get into the third post now. And I'm interested to see what happened after the previous one. So this one actually interestingly, there's quite a big gap between the previous post and the one that I'm about to read of about a month or so. So that's enough time, I reckon, for something to have really happened with these two. Anyway, the title is My Entitled Cousin Meets Karma. A small update, as I don't have a lot to tell, but I thought that you might want to hear this. My entitled cousin and Blabbermouth are still getting used to their new environment, aka prison. They're not to be released again until trial. Wow. We hope that won't change. So, happy dance for us. So they've been in prison for a month, and who knows when the trial is. That's insane. But my entitled cousin met someone else, and that someone is Karma, and Karma is a female dog. I was informed of this by none other than my entitled cousin's wife, henceforth known as Wonder Woman. She came to my house not to yell at me, curse me, or threaten me. Nope, she came to thank me. I was apprehensive and didn't allow her inside at first, but what she put through the mail slot made me invite her in. So this is Wonder Woman's story. My entitled cousin was apparently financially and emotionally abusive. He never laid a hand on her or their children and never abused their children, but whatever money she made, he made sure he got it. She was only allowed to work for cash so that he could get his hands on it easier. Whatever savings she had, he had forced her to surrender it in the name of, we are a unit now. She was broken and afraid. He had threatened divorce and taking the children because, quote, no judge would give her custody since she couldn't support them. In that case, he wouldn't allow her to see them as she was a bad wife and mother for leaving him. But now that he was behind bars, she found the rest of the courage she needed and access to all of the bank accounts, joint and her own, as well as other important things. This woman had already had contact with a divorce lawyer but was too afraid to actually go through with it. Her parents had talked to her many times and told her to get some real legal advice. She finally did, but was biding her time. So, when her husband, my entitled cousin, got arrested and sent to prison for a longer stay this time, she got the locks changed. The house is in her name, inheritance. Put all his things in boxes, closed the joint account after dividing the money equally, did a whole list of other things I can't remember, and on the same day he was served with the papers, his parents got a lot of boxes with his stuff and a letter. Wonder Woman was divorcing him. The stack of papers she gave me, it was a copy of the divorce papers. Wow, okay, so something to correct from earlier on then, the first post in this episode, I suppose, was that actually the entitled cousin and his wife in the past had good jobs and didn't need the money, not in the future, as OP said. Well, I mean, who knows? They may get back together, but it seems unlikely. Anyway, she was crying. She was and has been so afraid. Apology after apology about not being able to stop him from doing all those things. The reason she came was to let me know this, and how me getting beaten up and my entitled cousin breaking the bail was the miracle she needed. She apologized because my misery enabled her escape. I told her I wasn't angry at her. She did what she could. I was a bit surprised about the speed of everything, but with help from her parents, her family, and her friends, she'd been planning her flight to freedom, as she called it, for at least 7 or 8 months. What set her in motion was the visit, and along with what he'd said about it all, it lifted whatever blindness she had. She finally believed those words that others had said about him. It took some time, but after getting help, she started planning everything. She's afraid, but relieved. She was crying tears of joy, fear, and sadness at the same time. She kept apologizing, although I assured her she had nothing to worry about. Her parents are helping out financially for the moment, as she is looking for a job. I asked her about what she used to do, and after telling me, I gave an old friend of mine a call. I knew he was looking for someone and asked if he could send a job description, as I know someone who might fit. She looked and told me this might work. Friday, she called me to say that she has an interview next week. Fingers crossed. We had a good chat, and I gave her my number so she could call me if she needed help. I'm good at budgeting, and next week I'm going to go to her and help. So, my entitled cousin is in prison for the time being, but when he gets out, sooner or later, rather later, it will be terrible for him. He'll have no job, no home, no wife, no support from friends. His buddy told the friend group everything, and they dropped him so fast as if he was a live grenade. A record, and he might not be able to go to his parents, as his father is furious and disowned him. And that is how, up until this point, my entitled cousin meets karma. Let's see what else life, and hopefully karma, has in stock for him in the future. Wow, there we go. Fantastic end to this story. Much better than the end that we had a couple of episodes ago, or actually not too long ago, with that just a horrible story of that girl dying. Just very upsetting. But this is a lot better. It's kind of weird. I mean, from Wonder Woman's perspective, saying, "Look, I know you got beaten up by my husband, and I'm really sorry about that. That's obviously awful, but in a way, you kind of saved my life because it opened my eyes to just what a horrible person he is. And yeah, I've been planning this for a while, but that was sort of like the extra push I needed to actually go through with it. Him now being in prison is just, yeah, exactly what you want. It gives you the space, gives you the time, gives you the safety, I suppose, knowing that he's not going to be around, and you can actually move on with this divorce and get done what you obviously need to get done. So yeah, in a roundabout way, you getting beaten up, OP, was a good thing. Anyway, that is going to do it for episode 5 in this series. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to catch some other ones, or maybe you haven't seen a few of the episodes, I'll now start linking them all down in the description, also in the pinned comment as well, in episode order. So go through, watch those, listen to those if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss episode 6 coming tomorrow, and I will catch you there.